Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB, your sports guy. Tonight, we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs, Ja Morant, and Monty Williams being fired. But before that, we have a special guest. But before we get to the special guest, I have my two co-hosts with me. First of all, this guy you can catch on CrescentCitySports.com, the one and only VK Jones. VK, how you doing?
Good evening, everybody. We appreciate you joining us here, all the way from New Orleans, Baton Rouge, all over the state, all over the nation. Tag, share, subscribe. JB Sports Guy, Michonne K. Jones on YouTube and also on Facebook Live. So we appreciate you joining us. We got a lot going on. This is day one of two big shows. We got a huge one coming up tomorrow. We'll tell you more details of tomorrow's show for you. But tonight, we got a special guest. And then also, this is Hoops Night tonight. So we're looking forward to talking to our guest.
And other co-host, you can also catch him on CrescentCitySports.com, George Peppers. What's up, George?
And Jared, I'm doing fine. VK, I'm doing wonderful. I'm looking forward to this show tonight. Looking forward to speaking to our special guest. So you'll intro here in a second. Can't wait. Let's make it happen.
Well, let's get right into it. Our special guest for tonight, she was on the 2023 National Championship team of the women's basketball team, the one, the only Miss Emilyward. Emily, thank you for joining us. And how are you doing today?
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. It's very excited to be here. And I'm excited to be our special guest tomorrow.
Definitely. Thank you for joining us. I want to get right into the national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys had the big lead in the fourth quarter and the clock is running, and finally that buzzer goes off.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
So the coaches, before the buzzer went off, the coaches were like holding us back on the sideline, like, do not run on the court, do not get a technical, which I don't think we would have gotten technical, but still, they were like, just hold us together, just wait for the buzzer. And then I remember running out, obviously, everything was just crazy. I think I went to Jasmine first because we were just running at each other. Next thing I know, I look and Angel and Elise are over there on the floor, hugging. Everyone's just jumping and spinning. And then they were move out the way. After we celebrated for a second, they're like, move out the way. We got to build the stage. So we're like, what the heck? Okay. So we just move over a little bit. And then I remember just looking up at my parents and my family, and it was just like, wow, that actually just happened. The whole fourth quarter, I was like, guys, they still have time to come back. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Because, they can obviously shoot three-pointers, and you can catch up when you shoot three-pointers very fast. So I was like, just wait. They still have time, but once it was running down, we were like, okay, I think we're good.
What did Coach Kimmulkey tell you guys right before the game? What kind of pregame speech did she give you all?
Yeah, so she told us, she was like, just go out there and do your best. She was like, you don't have to be perfect. You're going to miss some shots, make some turnovers, have bad plays, bad defense, whatever, but just go and do your best, and your best will win this game. And luckily everything was going great that night, or I guess it was the day. But she was like, just go out there, do your best, do what you can. Y'all got this.
When I was watching the game, the way y'all came out for that game, I said it right then and there. There's no way they're losing this game.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was the best game y'all played. And shooting-wise was the best ever. There was no way y'all could have lost that game that day.
Oh, yeah. We didn't shoot the three ball well at all that entire tournament. If you go back, we were 1 for 17 in one game or something. It was awful. And then I remember whoever hit the first three, we finally made a three, and we're like, oh, it's game over. We got this. And then it's just Jasmine came in and kept hitting it, and then Poa hit some, and then Katir. It was just contagious 3-point shooting makes. But yeah, and then our strategy, we knew that we weren't going to stop Caitlin Clark. We just knew that we had to contain her. And, she wasn't, obviously she's one of the best players in the country. She was voted best player in the country, but we knew that she couldn't beat us by herself. So we just need to lock up on the other players.
I gotta ask you this, Emily.
Mhm.
Hate to interrupt you,
Oh, no,
but it was in my mind here. The strategy, more than anything else, you seen in the South Carolina game how Iowa was straight collapsing on Aaliyah Boston and in the post and everything, and it seemed like the same thing, almost the same plan went into y'all in the national championship. Did you think more than anything else y'all was licking your chops and felt like, okay, let's try to shoot this ball because they're giving us wide open shots. We just gotta hope you make it. Do you think that was more of kind of a miracle that, okay, we making these shots and we're not missing, let's keep shooting?
Yeah, I think when we saw their strategy versus South Carolina, which that's obviously what we try to do for South Carolina because they're just so big in there, just dare them to shoot outside. And we knew that Iowa would also do that to us because, like I said, we were not shooting well at all the entire tournament. Even like in our Final Four game, I mean, we shot better than we had, but it still wasn't the best that we could have done. So I think they were just like, oh, dare y'all to shoot it. And then once we started making it, that's when the post opened up more because the guards had to come and guard our guards. So I think it worked out well that we just were making it and we're able to dominate on the post and outside shooting.
I want to go back to the season now. A lot of talk about the schedule you all had. A lot of people saying it was a very, very weak schedule. Wasn't tough. LSU doesn't deserve to be in the top 5 because of that weak schedule. How did you all take that?
I mean, I don't think we let it get to our head because yeah, we did play some tougher teams. Coach Mulkey and the staff, they scheduled those games way in advance, like before she even knew who she was getting in the transfer portal. So that's why it was a schedule like that. I mean, she knew that we only had like 4 people coming back. So she didn't want us to play the Indianas and the UConns and just destroy our confidence. So I think it was very strategic of them. And like what we were telling people, like, yeah, we were playing kind of a weaker schedule, but we also did what we were supposed to do versus all those teams. It's not like, I mean, we had the Southeastern game. That was our only really close one during that time. But the other ones we were winning by what we were supposed to be winning by, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We got a question from a fan. They're asking, how would you have fared against South Carolina had that rematch occurred?
I definitely think we would have learned from the first game. That first game, it was just an insane environment. It would have been a miracle for us to go to South Carolina and win that game, and we all knew that. I think Coach Mulkey would have had a great strategy for it. I think it would have been a good matchup. Yeah. I think that us in South Carolina have very similar game plans and gameplay, how we play. So it definitely would have been a good game. And I mean, it was national championship. Like Coach Mulkey said, the first time we played South Carolina, she was like, guys, it's just a game. You win, you lose, it doesn't matter. It's just a game. But then that would have been like, okay, this is for a national championship, so get it together.
Before I pass it on to my friend VK Jones, a lot of people don't know that you were a 3-year walk-on.
Mm-hmm.
And right before the first game, I think right before tip-off, pregame, you were offered a scholarship for your senior year. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I have been a walk-on for 3 years. A lot of people don't know this, but Coach Nikki Fargas gave me a scholarship right before she left. So like when she left, the scholarship also left because it was for the following year. So it was like just starting over again. So I had earned it in 2 years. So then I was like, okay, you got 2 years to prove yourself, which obviously like I wouldn't have been upset if I didn't get it just because, I have TOPS and academic scholarships. So it's not like I'm paying a ridiculous amount of money. But yeah, we were scrimmaging one time in October. We scrimmaged a lot in October and we were watching film like the following day in the film room of just our scrimmage against each other. And I did something good or did like a hustle play or something. And then Coach Mulkey was like, Emily, like she made like a whole speech. She was like, do you have a scholarship? And I was like, no, ma'am. And then she was like, Emily does all this stuff that y'all do, never complains just because I'm like a very bubbly person. Like always positive. I don't like to look at the negatives. But she just was like, "Okay, you've earned a scholarship." And then did like keep rolling on the film. And I was like, "Hold on, what just happened?" um so she actually gave it to me there. And then so the video that like went viral or they posted, that was when I got like the legit scholarship invitation thing. So she goes to hand it to me, and I mean, I had no idea what it was. I just thought it was like some random thing. So I put it behind me because I don't want to be rude and just open it while she's talking because it was like one of those meetings where you knew it was going to be like a lot of talking. But she was like, "No, open it." So I opened it, and then it's like a bunch of really like not like longer words about like financial aid and all of this stuff. So when I'm reading it, I'm trying to like summarize it reading out loud, so I like stumble on it a lot. But then at the end, I'm like, okay, I just got a scholarship. um, and then
Let me
all the girls had known before that like I was getting the legit thing that day. So then they just start going crazy. They were jumping on me. I fell on the floor. They like grabbed me and pulled me back up. It was exciting. It was just an exciting day. Just because, you know, the way that she did it, it wasn't the first time. I mean, like it wasn't for the media. It was like you earned this scholarship. You deserve it. Like it was she wasn't doing it just to get likes or anything.
right.
Mhm.
Let me follow up right quick, VK.
Go ahead.
With that being said, you were a star player at Benton High School in the Shreveport area. I've been to Benton once before, 15 years ago. It was very cold that day when I was there. It was cold. You were a star player. You got to the state championship game, I believe, in 2019. You were state runner-ups. Were there any other schools that offered you scholarships?
Yeah, I had let me see. I had Nichols State offer me down in Thibodaux. I had like Washita Baptist, some other like kind of smaller schools. I had a few like smaller Division 1 schools, just like Nichols, like that level. And then ULM was interested for a second because they got a new coach, but then because my mom was friends with her and she was like, "Oh, I think she's gonna kind of go the LSU route." So they didn't really like offer me or like recruit me a lot. But I think if my mom hadn't told her, then I would have had to, talk to them a lot. But yeah, so it was really between LSU not playing basketball, and then going to Nichols State.
Okay. Fan asks, do you have any eligibility left?
So I technically have one more year because of COVID, but I'm not taking it. Instead, I'm doing an internship with the LSU Athletic Communications Department next year.
Nice.
So yeah, because so the way that the scholarship worked this past year, and then TOPS, so I still have a whole extra year of TOPS since the athletic scholarship took place of TOPS last year. Does that make so? I used like six semesters of my TOPS, so I have 2 semesters left. So I'll still have TOPS for all of grad school, which is great. But yeah, I'll be in charge of like a few different sports at LSU and like helping with their social media and marketing team. So, and that's exactly what I want to do, and I'm so happy. I'm excited for it.
Good deal.
Very, very good deal. And I ain't gonna lie, we might need your help on a couple of things, you know.
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? Especially
Okay,
trying to,
just let me know.
you know what I'm saying. We definitely let you know because we want to definitely get some more guests from that women's basketball team in itself. You know what I'm saying. I have some connections. I know some of the people that works behind the scenes at LSU. So I definitely got to contact them, but you might have an inside. But we'll talk about that soon.
Okay,
But regardless of the fact, I want to ask you this. You know, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the regular season, just a little bit. There was one game on the schedule, and I talked with a couple people, and they were saying that game was kind of the game that got y'all guys going, and it was a wake-up call. That was Southeastern at home, an improvement Southeastern team that went to the NCAA tournament. You only beat them by 8 points. Do you think that game was a wake-up call and a turning point for your girls for the season?
Yeah, I definitely think so. It was kind of in the middle, if I remember correctly, like the middle of our preseason, or not preseason, but pre-SEC season. And I think it just showed us that we don't need to take any team lightly. The teams that we were playing, I mean, they're still Division 1 athletes. They're still good. It's not like they're high school kids, you know, like they're still good teams, they're still great players. The girl that went off on us, she's from Baton Rouge. Like obviously she was trying to prove a point. But yeah, I definitely think it was a wake-up call for us. So for sure. And luckily we won.
Absolutely. Yes. But it's something else that, and even we had Coach Gazzato on our podcast, and she even said that, you know, Coach kimmulkey felt like that game really toughened your team more than anything else to go forward. And Coach Gazzato was kind of glad to see what LSU done to get to the Final Four. And she even predicted that y'all win it all.
Yes, she
So,
did.
you know, so we were some of the choices was right. My thing was on that day, and it was amazing. I didn't pick y'all to win it all, being honest with you, but it was amazing to see what I seen because y'all ahead of the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel that you guys accomplished something like this, knowing that what's coming back to the school next year and what you added?
Oh, I mean, it's very exciting. You know, no one thought that we would win it in 2 years. I'm very happy that we did because I got to experience it.
That's right.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I mean, Coach Mulkey the whole time, she was like, it's only year 2. It's only year 2. You know, one of our sayings, not really, but she mentioned at one time was she only took, I think it was like 4 years at Baylor
Right.
to win a national championship. And she was like, that's my goal, is to do it that quick again, which she didn't too. So she cut it in half. But and just to see that, you know, they brought in Haley, they brought in Murrow from DePaul. Like they brought in all these great players. I'm sure they're, you know, the freshmen coming in are amazing. It's gonna be fun to watch them. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I gotta ask you this with the game. What are your thoughts on what happened with the angelreese thing, with the what you call it, the you can't see me thing, and the controversy and whatever, all that stuff? What were your thoughts about that? Because that was really something else that gave a lot of attention to women's college basketball in almost of a wrong direction instead of the right direction, knowing that the LSU Tigers winning their first ever basketball national championship.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know that anything was happening until like the day after we won. Like I didn't see her do it. I mean, I didn't see literally any part of it. And then when I got on my phone, you know, that night when we won, obviously I wasn't on my phone like very much at all, so I didn't know. But then the next day, it's like every single thing I saw was of Angel and Caitlin. Which it kind of at the beginning I was like, oh dang, like it's taking away from our championship win. Like they're focusing more on being mean to Angel and talking bad about her than us just winning. But then if you think about it, like it did just bring so much more publicity. Like my mom was like, no publicity is bad publicity, if that makes sense. Like and how that kind of worked around us. But I'm proud of Angel. She didn't really care what the girl or what the people were saying about her. I know if people were saying that about me, I would not be like happy. I would be crying. But she just doesn't. She doesn't care. That's just who she is. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, even Caitlin was like, she's fine. Like that's just girls talking smack to each other in the court, and that's kind of how I view it too. So, and even if I did think that Angel did something wrong, I would still like, she's still my teammate. I'm still gonna support her no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm gonna actually.
I don't think she did anything wrong, but even if
we don't think
we all
agree
don't
with
think
you.
so.
Yeah, we agree with you straight up. But actually, I'm gonna let George Peppers take over with the questions. Now since you're getting into the athletic side with communications, you're learning more about the business and everything else. What are your thoughts on how NIL has kind of changed things in the NCAA, especially how Angel has been really just rolling with it?
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, Flau'jae Johnson, and it's amazing with her story that the fact that she's balancing music, classes, and basketball, and handling her business. What you can say about the NIL and how things have affected some of you ladies with LSU?
Yeah, I think our team, and just playing for LSU and winning the national championship just skyrocketed all of our social media presence. You know, Angel got the car, Flagey got all of these, you know, rap deals with the rappers and, you know, all the music stuff that she's been doing. I mean, I think that it's very interesting because people ask me this a lot and I don't really know not how to answer it, but as of right now, I love NIL. I think it's great. But I can also see where it could go south fast in the future. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I personally like NIL, and I think it's a great way for athletes to earn money just because, you know, yes, the athletic scholarship pays for a school, but we don't have time for a job or to do any internships or anything. So it kind of just helps us for the future outside of college.
How could it go south in your opinion? How could it go south?
Yeah, so I think that the only way is that it focuses more on money than playing time, or maybe not playing time, but, you know, let's say I was in the transfer portal. I want to go to some school based on their money instead of the sport that I'm playing, if that makes sense. So I'm more focused on how much money I'll make than playing for a specific team or a specific coach or university or something like that.
Do you think the transfer portal is a little out of control?
Yeah, I do. And but I'm on the SEC Leadership Council, and we had a talk over the summer, like at the convention in Alabama, and we were talking about the transfer portal, and it's like, okay, well, you have all these deadlines, but a lot of it is for the athletes and not necessarily the coaches. So like, let's say that I still have a year of eligibility and Coach Mulkey decides that she wants to leave and go somewhere else. Well, in some sports, I wouldn't have the ability to leave and also go somewhere because the deadline has already passed. So even though my coach left, I still have to stay no matter what, unless the new coach comes in and it's like cut. Well, then at that point, like, I'm still stuck because a lot of teams already have their roster set. If that, like, I think it's just crazy. I think it's just crazy. I don't know how they could fix it, but
it's chaotic.
It's chaotic. Yeah, and I feel like there are a lot of different like rules and exceptions to it, to where I don't know. I just think it's chaotic. That's a good word to describe it.
Wow. George Peppers. George, you can go ahead.
Well, first of all, Emily, thank you for joining us tonight. Before I start, let me piggyback off the NIL thing. I think the one benefit for me is for women, because it's, quite frankly, for ladies, they're not going to see that money in the WNBA or anywhere in Europe. I mean, Europe, you can make that money, but if you could stay home and make the money they make, you know, and, you know, your image and likeness, like somebody like Angel Reese, you know, or Flage Johnson, guys, ladies like that, the money that you guys would make is way more than y'all could ever make in the WNBA or anything else. I think that's the one positive about it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do think that's a big positive. I think for, you know, for people like Angel Flage who have like millions of followers, it is something to think about if they are going to stay in college for all 4 years. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting topic still. Just the amount of payment. But if you're looking at it for like Angel and Flage, like, they make this X amount of money, but I obviously do not make that much money. So it kind of just varies person to person. So like, I don't know necessarily how much, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, we'll say Alexis Morris. So I don't know how much she was making in college, if that would be more than she would make in the WNBA, if that makes sense.
It does. I mean, totally. Flashing back to the season, Your moment, where you guys were just rolling along, and look, there was a lot of critics for your team early on because of the schedule, and you didn't play the heavyweights and whatnot. And then the Mia Culpa game was at South Carolina, a game that you guys had maybe your worst shooting performance in that game. You got run out of the gym that day, 85-64. What were you guys' mindset when y'all lost at South Carolina? What did kimmulkey tell you guys after that particular game?
Yeah, so she told us, she was like, guys, like I said before, this is just a basketball game. It's okay if you win, it's okay if you lose. Just that is not the national championship. And we still have a lot, because that was, February 12th or something
Right.
in that area. So she was like, you still have the whole month of February to play SEC
Hmm.
games. And that was only like midway through the season. So she's like, put this game behind us, learn from it, obviously, but focus on the next team that we played. Because I think we had, I don't know, some game on Thursday. So she was like, just learn from it. Hopefully we get another chance at them later on. But yeah, just keep going and keep pushing. We still have a lot of games to play.
Well, you almost did if they would have beat if they would have beat Iowa in the semifinal, but that didn't happen. Now let's go ahead to the NCAA tournament itself. You mentioned that you guys, your perimeter shooting really wasn't there, but I think there was a little bit of an awakening in the semifinal game against Virginia Tech, a very good defensive team, one of the best defensive teams in the United States. That team was wicked good defensively, and you guys were able to shoot the basketball fairly well in that game. I think it was better than any game you had played in the tournament.
Mm.
Did that game give you guys the boost you needed heading into the final?
Yeah, I think, I think that the Final Four just setting in general is very
Hmm.
intimidating for a lot of people. So I think once we got that first game out of the way, we're like,
Hmm.
okay, we've already played on these rims. Let's just go win this next game. Um, and that game was definitely tough because I remember like we went on a run and then they came back and then they went on a run and then we came back. Like we just kept flip flopping, like who was winning. By like however many points. But yeah, I think that us playing well in that semifinal game definitely gave us the push for the championship game for sure.
Definitely. And LSU has been to the Final Four was it 6 times before this year, or is it 5 times before this year without winning a national title? This team, though, I think the collection of talent and personalities, and with a fiery head coach like kimmulkey, I feel like that really made the difference for you guys. But against Iowa, the game plan obviously was to try to slow down their perimeter shooting because that was one of their biggest strengths. Caitlin Clark obviously was the player of the year, one of the best players in the country, uh, and whatnot. In what moment did you feel like, okay, I think we're good? That you guys had this game in your mind. In your mind, where did you think this game turned? The
Um,
Iowa game.
yeah. I think we had the game in lockdown with like a minute and a half left. After Kateri hit that three, I was like, okay, we're good. They're not gonna come back. Which a lot of girls were, obviously way before me, but here I'm like, okay, don't get too ahead of ourselves. Like there's still some time left. Um, and then I mean, a lot of people said that the referees and the fouls and all of that stuff was like impact, but we had Angel, Kateri, and Lex on the bench in the second quarter, just like they had Caitlin and Monica. So it just, I mean, our both teams' players were in foul trouble the whole time. So
We have a question on Facebook that I think is an absolutely outstanding question. Did you guys care who you played in this championship, or did you want the rematch with South Carolina? Was there a preference for you guys, or did it matter?
um I think we wanted the SEC matchup because I think that would have been great for SEC and just our conference, because I feel like we have a very tough conference and a lot of people didn't say that this year. Um, but yeah, I guess once Iowa won, we were like, okay, this is, I mean, obviously they're two completely different game plans because Iowa's more outside shooting, South Carolina is more height and rebounds. Um,
Right.
but I think we were just so fired up we didn't really care who we were playing. I remember, so my roommate when we travel is Alexis Morris, and that night after the Final Four game, when we were about to play Iowa, she was already like obviously studying the film and everything. And she was like, gosh, I just wish we could play tonight. Because we were like all just pumped. We were like, okay, there's just one more. Like we've already won however many games. Like just we don't care. I mean, we obviously knew it was Iowa, but we were like, let's just do this. Let's go play.
My last question, looking ahead, and obviously you're in a different department now, we're still in athletics, but looking at this LSU team next season, with what is already happening with the portal, we talk about how reckless, people say reckless or whatever choice of words you have or whatnot, but you get Haley Van Zitz from Louisville, and you got the young lady from DePaul, plus four high school All-Americans, Angel, Flage. Who beats this team next year in your mind?
I think it's going to be interesting. I think as long as the girls don't get too complacent and just like, oh, we're going to go back to back. It's hard to go back to back. I mean, not a lot of people have done it. A lot of things have to go right. No injuries. People have to beat people. You have to have a good shooting game, good matchup, good games, the whole tournament. So as long as they aren't like so focused on the future and not looking at who's right in front of them, I think they're going to be hard to beat for sure. I'm very excited, and I'm very interested to see how their scrimmages will go, and when they play against each other all the time.
I want to ask you, how is Coach Mulkey able to get so many? I don't want to say egos, like they have a big head, but I guess personality is a better word. Personalities. With Haley Van Lith coming in, Anissa Morrow, Flage, angelreese. How is Coach Mulkey able to get everyone to play together? And how would you be able to get that team next year to play together?
Yeah, I think Coach Mulkey just has a way. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she got all of our team this past year to play together. But, in the summer, it helped that we were all scrimmaging together and learning each other's strengths and weaknesses. And so I think once the team figures out that, it'll be easier. And all these girls, all they want to do is win. So as long as they realize that, oh, I might not be playing as much, but we're still going to go and win. As long as they know that, then hopefully they'll all have a positive mindset, be like energy people, just do what they have to do in order to win. So, and they're like Coach Mulkey said, they're all ballers. We had a baller team this year.
Yeah.
They literally, it was in the summer last year, and we had scrimmage for like 3 hours, and they're like, let's go again. I'm like, hold on, guys. I'm a little tired. But they just want to go play. They don't really complain. They never complained about our scrimmages, or they just wanted to play. They just wanted to hoop. So, and once you have a team like that wants to do that, it'll be easier to get them to all play together.
VK, you got another question?
I'm looking at the comment from David DK Kinsey, bro. I'm like, oh my God, don't do it, man. Don't do it, man. Don't look. I feel you, bro. I'm not gonna say that because it's so hard to go undefeated in women's basketball. And South Carolina came so close. I'm telling you, it's hard. It really is hard.
I would love it.
Exactly. There's been only 2 teams that ever been undefeated in women's college basketball. That's the University of Tennessee and the University of Connecticut.
I think Kim Mulkey got one at Baylor.
No. They didn't go undefeated.
Brittany Griner, huh?
They didn't go undefeated.
You sure?
They did not go undefeated.
I like how you say it with such confidence.
I'm just saying, they did not go undefeated. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So you can look it up right quick, but I'm just saying they were really good. I think Baylor might have had. I think they had 1 or 2 losses that year, but even with Kim Mulkey 1 year with Brittany Griner, they lost.
Okay.
Against a team they should have lost to.
Okay. I'll take your word, my friend.
Yeah.
It's always the teams that you shouldn't lose to that gets you.
Right.
That's correct.
But there's no doubt LSU women will be the team to beat next season. There is no doubt.
I already said I think it's LSU and Connecticut with Paige Beckers coming back. I think that will be the championship game.
I I told you. This is the thing about UConn. They could come back. But like I said, that Big East getting better. It ain't gonna be easy for no UConn to be coming not in there, man. This is
You're
not
right,
the
but you
same
forgetting Paige
UConn.
was hurt last year too.
Even when Paige was back, I'm telling you, it's not the same UConn. The thing is, Paige has to be 100%. That's the one big thing I can say. She's got to be 100%, and they're gonna make it deep. You know
They
what
still
I'm
ain't
saying?
beating LSU.
That's agreeable.
Fingers crossed. Knock on wood.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. But
George, do you have another question for Emily?
Sure. Hearing this discussion about LSU and UConn, Jared, I'm going to take your side on it first because Paige Buchers is a special player too. But Emily, what are your long term goals going forward? You're now with the athletic department. What do you have going forward? What are you looking to do? Are you going to even think of getting into coaching, maybe?
Yeah, so my mom and my dad are both high school coaches, so I've always grown up around coaches. I've grown up in the gym. So as of right now, I am leaning towards more sports marketing and sports social media areas. I would love to go to, a professional team or a college team and like run their social media accounts or just do something in that area. So that's my main goal. But I wouldn't, as of right now, I don't want to be a coach just because I think I just need a break from the whole like being a staff and coaching player. So yeah, but that might happen one day.
that's cool. And do you have your how you looking graduation wise? You have your degree already?
Yeah, so I graduated in December in mass communications, digital advertising. Awesome. And then I started my graduate program in the spring, so this past semester, and it's in leadership and human resource development. Nice. So it's like HR based in leadership. And then I'll finish that next May.
So. Awesome. That's unbelievable.
Thank you.
And since you're part of the communications field, I think it's a chance that hopefully at least, you know what I'm saying, because of the fact that you learning the game, you're learning the media and all that stuff. So, we're definitely gonna keep you in mind, you know what I'm saying, especially if we have you on as an expert or, maybe get some interviews for us either way. You know what I'm saying, like that. But we're very good. We're a very good show that's continuing to grow, and we like to give our roses and everything, and tell the great stories around this state and the stories that people don't know about. You know what I'm saying? This is big that we have you on to give you your roses, but then on top of that, you have a story for people to tell. Mm-hmm. So trust me, it's big to have you on and everything. And I hope you do great, man. You know what I'm saying? I wish you the best of everything you do. I know that ring is like icing on the cake. Besides your degree.
I'll go out with a better way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we let you go, Jared, I just looked it up. 2012, Baylor, kimmulkey, 40-0, undefeated, national champions. I had to look it up, Emily, and I wanted you to hear it from us. So there you go. Baylor did win it, 40-0. Jared, you were right. I thought you were. I just had to make sure. So
I thank you for checking, sir. I thank you for
absolutely.
checking.
Somebody's got to have some humble pie now.
I really don't appreciate that, George. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I'll take the L. I'll take the
please
L.
do.
I'll take the L on that. I'll take the L. You know what I'm saying? If I was wrong, I can see them think about me. I do get it wrong sometimes, not all the time. Okay, so if I'm wrong, I'm a man enough to say I'm wrong. So I was wrong.
Own up to it.
It's Tennessee, UConn.
Okay. All right, Emily. This is the last question, and we'll get you out of here. National championship game, over 9 million people watched it. That was more than the boys' national championship game. How do you look at women's sports, especially women's basketball, progressing even further along down the line in the future?
Yeah, I think this was just the starting point of it. I think that when we saw that number, we were like, holy moly, that's insane. Like literally crazy. And then it had the stats of like everything that it's beaten this past year of like view wise. I mean, like we had more views than this, whatever. And to see this, you know, there are so many different hashtags or whatever that went viral from the national championship, you know, the angel and flagey and Moki hugging flagey and just all of that stuff. It definitely helped women's basketball, not just LSU, just us and women's basketball in general. And then I think to see that with the WNBA, a lot of people were watching the draft, and a lot of people, you know, after the Connecticut Suns let go of Alexis, everyone was upset, and they're like, we need more roster space, we need another team. And it's just, I've never seen people talk about the WNBA as much as they are now. So I think everyone being invested in the tournament this past year is just continuing onto the WNBA, and I'm excited for it. So
definitely. Well, Emily Ward, national champion, we thank you for joining us. We've enjoyed it, and hopefully one day you'll come back and join us.
Of course, just let me know.
Most definitely. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Emily.
Of course. Thank y'all.
All right.
Wait, how do I leave? Oh, I see it. Okay, bye.
Wow. Awesome.
Emily Ward, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, great interview, man. Great interview. Great story to tell. She actually played in 25 games her senior year. 25 games. So
nice.
She's got a lot of playing time in.
So that means that ring did not go in vain at all. Period.
Not at all.
Period. I'm talking about.
So man, but
I think that's much better than the Phoenix Suns owner. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Well, sound like we want to go straight into it. So let's get to the other basketball stuff we said we would talk about. Let's start with Coach Monty Williams being fired. I'm gonna let George go first.
Well, I mean, when I saw this story come on the timeline Saturday night, I did a double take and I thought to myself, my God, okay, what does this world come to? The man took this team to the NBA Finals, won Coach of the Year, 191 wins in 4 years. And this year, because of a badly built basketball team, you damn right, I said it. Kevin Durant was a mismatch on this team from the jump because it masked the deficiencies the Phoenix Suns have. You see that big space in the middle? DeAndre Ayton? That's all he is. He has not elevated at any point in his career. He has moments and not nearly enough. Who do you blame, though? I mean, I think the front office has to take some accountability here. You took on a man like Kevin Durant. And look, I'm not going to sit here and fool anybody by saying Durant's this or that. He's an outstanding player. He's a game changer. I get it. All right, I understand it. But for the Phoenix Suns, this was a mismatch. This was a bad matchup. I just feel like it was a discombobulated roster. And, and I think the one, if we're going to play devil's advocate, and let's chew on this. Last year, the go-home game against Dallas in the playoffs, they got destroyed, right? This year, in a 3-2 deficit at home, they get mangled again. Denver beats them by 27, I think, or 25, something like that, regardless. So I think this owner, who I guess, I don't know what he was thinking, he was trying to tie it up with Nikola Jokic. I'm like, my man, unless you got a will and testament or something, I don't know what's up. But those two wipeouts, I think this owner thought, well, doggone, we're not a team that's built to win under adverse conditions, but your guy got you 190-something wins. I'll make a prediction, VK, before I flip this to you.
Yes, sir.
There's another vacancy that fits Monty Williams to a T. And if he takes it, and I hope he does, he'll win right away. Milwaukee. I think the Bucks, it's a situation that he will absolutely succeed. And I think he will do very well. Another one, and my brother pointed this out to me, Emmanuel, my younger brother, who also is with Crescent City Sports and also the voice of the UNO baseball privateers. If Doc Rivers gets fired by Philadelphia, which I think he should, Philadelphia would be another spot that Monty could go and win right away because Monty would tap into what they have. I think he's a better coach than Doc Rivers right now. I'm saying it, and he doesn't have a championship, but I think he's a better X's and O's coach than Doc. And for the record, this was the wrong move by Phoenix, but for Monty, it could be a blessing in disguise because there's better openings.
I'm gonna go next. Let me go next. I'll let DK go last. This new owner, I think he wants to have his own say and wants his own people. And from what I heard, he just wasn't too fond of Monty Williams. Wasn't too fond of him. So, yes, the blowout win, that was his excuse to get rid of him. Should Monty have been fired? No, indeed not. Not at all. I understand the two conference semifinals losses at the end for 2 years straight were blowouts at home. I get it. This year, you didn't have a Chris Paul and you didn't have a bench. You had no depth. So you really wasn't working with nothing except Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton didn't even show up against Nikola Jokic. Didn't even show up. And Stephen A. Smith said it yesterday. He said he thinks DeAndre Ayton was the one who got Coach Monty Williams fired. Simply by his play, and then all of a sudden just sitting out for game 6. Monty Williams should not have been fired. It's a big mistake. I even think Coach Budenholzer in Milwaukee shouldn't have got fired. I mean, last year he missed Chris Middleton. This year, Giannis playing with a hurt tailbone. Giannis wasn't 100%, even though they lost to Miami. I don't think he shouldn't have got fired. To piggyback off the situation in Philadelphia, if Doc gets fired, it would be a good fit. But what you do with James Harden? What do you do with James Harden?
Trade him.
You might have to.
Trade him.
You might have to. Be honest.
I would go better than that. I would go a little bit bolder. Release his behind and give him money and be gone. James Harden is washed up. He is worn out his welcome in the league. He is not clutch when it's time. He's not consistent.
He's disappeared in the playoffs many times. But more than ever, he's not there. It's amazing that his I'm gonna give him a little credit. His assist was probably the highest he's ever been in his career. I'm gonna give him that. But at the same time, his other game, I mean, you'll see him. It is I don't know what, and we're tired of it. I'm like this. James Harden got to go. I don't care where he go at. He needs to be done in the league. He needs to retire. That's just straight up. Harden is just washed up. He needs to be out of here. You could just not forget trading. Just release him, give him his little money, and be gone. What's your thoughts about Coach Monty?
Well, to me, this is unfair. This is very unfair for Monty to get fired. This is a lot more unfair than the Pelicans. What the Pelicans did, at first I thought, okay, maybe, but now you look at it, that was kind of bad because look at the success that happened later on. The reason why I said at first that in the beginning I thought the blowout, the 20-point something lead against the Warriors that the Pels blew, to me at first, and it was cold what the Pelicans did to him, but I really thought that was a fireable offense because you cannot give up a big lead at home in the playoffs. That's a no-no. You can't do that. So all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, he gets fired. But this is bad in itself. And the question here, hell no. I like Monty. Well, Willie Green is a great coach. It's just got to be a situation that's got to come together through the organization.
The players got to stay healthy.
And the players got to stay healthy too.
Yes.
Willie is the coach, and he's a good one. I really think so. And like I said, and yeah, Dave, he's been But this year was unfair. Come on, man. One main person that's out, that's getting older. And then the other thing this year, you have a center that ain't playing worth a jack at all, period.
Remember, he got benched in the game last year for not playing.
Number one pick in the draft is starting to be a bust to me. DeAndre Ayton is starting to be a bust to me. So guess what? I would trade him or I would release his butt. Because I'm telling you.
They just signed him to a new deal.
What they better trade his butt. They better trade him and do something with him. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, they had Kevin Durant, but there's no depth. There's no depth.
Kevin Durant needs help though. But here's the thing about Kevin Durant too. Yeah, you have Kevin Durant, but here's the thing about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a follower, not a leader. He's a follower. Like I said before, I'm gonna say it again. When he was in OKC, I'm gonna still say it. He's great talented. He's one of the best in the league. But here's the thing. And the blowouts might have been a factor of Monty getting fired, Dave. I get it. But I'm saying about Durant should have never left OKC. He should have did what he can to get Westbrook traded. He let Westbrook punk him instead of being the man he is. If you the man, you better talk to him, talk it out. I don't care if you fight behind the scenes. You have to establish that you the alpha dog. And Kevin Durant has showed once again he ain't no alpha dog. And yeah, maybe Durant should have stayed in Golden State, but still he followed. He's not a leader. He's truly not a leader. He can play, he can score with the best of them. But when it comes down to it, he ain't no leader. But at the same time, hey, but here's another thing. I think the owner right now is showing his stroke, and it's not a good one.
That's what I said. I think he wasn't fond of him.
And I think James Jones didn't want to fire Monty.
James Jones did not want to fire Monty. No.
Because I think James Jones got
James Jones didn't do it. The owner did it.
The owner, that's what I'm saying. The general manager had to do it, but the owner cornered him, and he probably told James Jones, if you don't fire him, I'm going to fire you, or I'm going to fire him myself.
No, Woj came out and said James Jones didn't have the conversation with Monty that he told him he was fired. It was the owner himself. He went over James Jones and did it himself. That's what Adrian Wojnarowski reported.
He's not. That's what I'm saying. This owner is stroking him. He's showing his stroke right now because he think he got money and everything else. Deep on the bench, a member of the freaking Michigan State national championship basketball team. That's people I can't stand. I can't stand the people that coming off they ain't hardly play anything at all, and all of a sudden they think they got all the freaking stroke and know the damn game. They don't know jack squat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not with this owner.
Good point.
I'm not with it. So that's just what it is. I think it's just, and looking at this point here, yeah. Exactly.
Great point.
Great point.
I wanted to interject on something David Kenzie posted on Facebook just now.
Okay.
It's not making excuses when you see it as plain as day. The Lakers, there's a difference. Your man, who's your GM in LA, Rob Pelinka,
yes.
Right? That team was woebegone at the beginning of the season. They were 2-10, not 3. I mean, what's the difference? They stunk early. But what did Pelinka do? And what do good GMs do? They recognize the deficiencies and they work to fix it. That Lakers team turned into the Transformers of the NBA. That is a legitimate team now, and they are legitimately into the Western Conference Finals. Granted, they knocked off a fraudulent Memphis and a Golden State matchup that was tailor-made for them because Golden State's interior game is not very good. And Anthony Davis feasted. Now they get a very big challenge against Denver. We'll talk about that in a minute. But David, we're not making excuses for the Suns. We're not defenders of the Suns. I don't think it's any of that. What I do think is that this is an unjust firing And there's many aspects to it. Jared, I don't think it should have happened. I think this owner is trying to show something that he's maybe the ego is getting in the way. And haven't we seen this before in other avenues? Ego gets in the way of sense. How do you fire a guy that wins on average almost 50 plus games a year, almost 50 in 4 years? And look, the other point, Jared, and I'll answer this part, and I want you to answer it too. There are some people chirping about Monty coming back here. I say no, and it's not because of Monty. It's not any of that. New Orleans failed him because you had an impotent general manager, Dell Demps, that failed to build a roster that could win consistently.
That's correct.
Monty was dealt bad hands here. He's not coming back here. I don't want him back here because you got a young fireball in Willie Green. I do criticize Willie losing the OKC game because he should have had Jonas go crazy on the inside. OKC had no answer for Jonas, but they never went to him enough. But that's another story for another day. But Jared, I love Monty Williams. I think he's going to do great wherever he goes next, but not here. Not here.
I agree.
And then looking at it, David said something Phoenix had, but I'm like, David, let's use common sense on this one. I get the question, but let's use common sense on this one. Giannis Antetokounmpo happened. Drew Holiday happened. That's what happened after the 2-0 lead.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened with that.
Then Giannis, and then all of a sudden, Giannis had probably one of the best closeout games I ever seen in a finals. Besides,
with the free throws he made, the free throws, he didn't miss a free throw, and he's not a good free throw shooter.
Not just a free throw. Yeah, the free throws was one, but two, 56, 12, 8 assists, and 4 blocks in a championship. In a clutch game, in a clinching game. That's what happened. It was just the fact Phoenix was unfortunate, Dave. They was unfortunate. Let's be real. What Monty did, he took Phoenix somewhere that they have not been since Barkley and Paul Westphal.
Let me say this.
A long time.
We gotta move on. Let me say this right quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this right quick. I love your point. I really do. I also think the adjustments Budenholzer made to beat Phoenix played a key factor. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. I won't say out-coach, but his adjustments compared to Monty's adjustments were just superior. All right. Before we get to the NBA playoffs, we got to talk about Ja Morant, man. We got to talk about Ja Morant. And I'm not disappointed because it's straight up stupidity what he's doing. But I really thought that he wouldn't. I know I'm not a Lakers fan. I know that people know that, David Kinsey. I don't know why you thought I was a Lakers fan. But anyway, back to Ja Morant. I couldn't believe this. Like, are you that stupid to do this again on Instagram Live? There are millions of people who would love to be in your shoes, making millions of dollars with Nike, with Powerade, with these sponsorships you're getting. And you really want to throw this all away? Because you want to show people you got guns, or you think you're hard, or what? Like, I couldn't believe that happened again. I'm like, how dumb is Ja Morant? Ja Morant. Shannon Sharp said today, not mad at Ja, but he's mad at the people that defended Ja the first time. Can't defend this. Ja Morant is a grown man. He knows the difference between right and wrong. He's making these choices on his own. And I just can't understand it. You got guns, get your goddamn guns in your goddamn house. You bring them outside for an NBA player. You close to getting a $236 million deal. And you about to throw it away. You about to get this big suspension, and you do it again, you might get kicked out the league. Like, dude, what are you thinking, VK?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say this because I've been thinking about this a lot. I am resigning out of the Ja Morant fan club until improvements, because that is ridiculous, and I'm tired of it. I love Ja Morant, but I can't root for that. I'm sorry. To me, Memphis is gonna have to do some things. Ja did it himself, but now the Memphis Grizzlies got to step up and try to get some help as an organization to get this together. You done already got rid of one guy that's been proven to be sort of a cancer. Now with Ja, here's the thing you're gonna have to do now, because he's stupid. Ja is really, to me, it's a disappointment to me because of the talent he has, and you're wasting it. You're totally wasting it. Like I said before, Memphis need to bring in Marcus Gasol and also Zebo to talk to Ja and talk to the team. They need a discussion and saying, you got something potential here coming. And right now you're screwing it up. And thank you, Dave. And I was about to say, here's the other thing.
Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury.
Zebo and also Allen Iverson needs to have a conversation. They really do. Because Allen Iverson, somehow, yeah, he messed up on some things, but he got his life together. He got himself together. Iverson and Zebo needs to have a serious discussion. What Jalen Rose did was cool, but this has got to be off camera. Everything else, Iverson and Zebo needs to have a big old conversation and let him know this ain't you, bro. This ain't you. You need to chill out. You don't understand what you're doing. You're carrying a city that's known for this stuff. We trying to give them hope to get out of the hood. Hope, but just to be successful. Hope to be productive. Hope to stay out of jail. What are you doing? And that's what Iverson and Zebo needs to do. Have a conversation with the man. And Marcus Gasol and Zebo need to have a conversation with the Memphis Grizzlies team if they're going to have it again. And here's the biggest thing. I'm putting my name out of I'm not an advocate of the Memphis Grizzlies anymore. Not anymore. The only way I get back as a name as an advocate for that team, and here's the name they're going to have to go get in the offseason. If they get this name, this could be a big shot in the arm for this team, and this could help them going forward. And that's Draymond Green. If they can get Draymond Green in Memphis, that could be a big help because he is out from the hood. He's from Mississauga. What is it? Mississauga out there in Michigan. He out there from the hood, and he knows what's happening. He knows about the rough life. And I think it'll be really good for him to come in. It'll be a big shot in the arm. It ain't for Memphis to be more aggressive. It'll be more of being wise and be like, hey, you ain't got to do it this way. Hey, we ain't gonna be that way. He's gonna bring them a lot of wisdom and a lot of humbleness beside his aggressiveness to understand, hey, I won 3 titles, but there were ways that we did it. And we gotta go another direction because this is not the way to go if you're gonna try and win a title.
His dad.
And you're right.
His dad's a clown, man. His dad is a clown. Get on my nerves.
His mom, his mom is his dad. His mom,
his coattail. That's all he's doing. His dad.
His both mom and his dad is that bad. You see what his mom was doing at the mall. Got him like, bro. It's the whole family. It's a big mess. Go ahead, George.
Well, I mean, as an Caucasian American, to see a prime African American in Ja Morant disgrace himself, disgrace his family, and disgrace the city of Memphis, it infuriates me because he is a very gifted and talented player. But I'll throw this caveat out there about the basketball part of this. Where is Memphis going to be next year? He's looking at potentially a 50-game suspension. I think it's
definitely
50.
Double digits.
I think it's got to be, because how do you fix it? But there's 2 things I want to kind of drum up here. One, has Ja hit rock bottom as a person? See, people forget, you know, you're doomed to make the same mistake twice, but eventually you're going to learn. Sadly, it's going to take a horrible tragedy, and not him, but he'll be front and center in a possible tragedy involving a gun. What the hell are you trying to prove, John Morant? What are you doing? You've already been reprimanded for this once, but yet you're whipping your pistol out or gun, whatever. I don't even know what piece it was. Excuse me. I don't know what the hell you were thinking. Exactly, David. I almost forgot. I forgot he had a kid. He has a daughter. Completely forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that his dad was a clown. His dad egged all that nonsense on with that Laker game last year. This past season. His dad kicked all that nonsense off at crypto, you know, and Shannon did what he had to do. But John Morant, let me ask y'all this, because now I want to focus on the basketball aspect. John Morant, for all the talent and the gifts that he has, is he a franchise elevator? I say no. I think he's a great player, stuck in neutral that can't lead a franchise to glory. Last year proved it. This year proved it. Just throwing it out there. The results back me up.
I got a lot of friends that will sit here and say Ja is overrated. A lot of friends that says that. I think he's a
Mm.
very good talent, a very good basketball player. He just doesn't know how to get further along in the playoffs. And maybe in due time it'll happen. It didn't happen with Jordan right away. But I mean, look at what we're looking at now. I mean, this guy is getting himself in trouble. He himself for no reason. VK.
Very much. I'm looking at what Dave was talking about. Like he said that he's went to power school. He was not a thug. But here's the thing, Dave, and you gotta understand this. They got some gangsters sometimes in private schools now.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't underestimate that. There was a great athlete that used to play for Archbishop Shaw, who was the quarterback. Probably one of the best athletes you will probably ever see.
Sharon Carey?
No, not Sharon Carey, but Foden. This was in between. That was actually at Vance, because he was really. I gotta get the name. It's on the tip of my tongue because he was awesome. And then all of a sudden he had to go. That's it. Ike Wilson. Probably one of the best athletes. I love Vance and Mickey, but to me, probably the one of the most dynamic and best quarterbacks I've seen in Shaw was Ike Wilson. Ike Wilson was unbelievable. And knowing where he's from, he was from Algiers. And then all of a sudden he transferred up. Things didn't work out at Shaw. He transferred to Higgins and led Higgins to the postseason. And then all of a sudden he was about to be signed at Mississippi State, got caught up and shot up in Algiers and killed. They got some gangsters in private schools, Dave. Don't underestimate that. Because we didn't see it. I didn't went to school with a couple of them. They undercovers on the what? But when you go by their houses or be with them personally, oh yeah, they got some gangsters up in the private schools. That's real talk. So you just don't know what kind of, and some of the people that Ja is hanging with, that's not good. It's not good. I don't think Ja is that guy. I agree. I don't think he's that guy, Dave. But who he's hanging with, and it might be people hanging wherever he was raised at or whatever. It's not good. He might have been hanging with them bad boys back then, and that's all he probably knows. And this is a shame that his parents is kind of like, and then knowing his dad how he carries it, that's not good.
Wow.
That is not good. And
I just want to make one.
and I agreed. Allen Iverson definitely bad news. More news, Virginia. Woo, woo.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
George.
I
Go
just
ahead,
want to
Paul.
make one more point. Y'all both know where I work and what I deal with. I deal with people that are in jail on firearms charges, and you know what I tell them, and what I would tell John Morant. This is what I would say. You see the crowd you're hanging with? That's not the path that you want in life. Yes, you're an incredibly talented basketball player, but there are two roads. One, the straight road that keeps you out of trouble. The other is that little hook, that what I call dead man's curve. If you take that road, my man, and I don't want to even go there, but I tell these kids that are in jail, youngsters, 20, 19, 18, 21, and tell them, they say, man, Sarge, I'm going to get out. And what I tell them, get out, get the hell away from that circle of friends that you think you got, because they're going to put you in the grave. John Morant, I tell you the same thing. You fool around with the bad seeds are going to always get you. Get away from that nonsense. Turn your life around. You have a daughter to raise. I'm not worried about, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't care about his parents or not like that because of what, look, they're flamboyant or whatnot, but you need to focus on your daughter. Do you really think your daughter wants to have to see her dad making a complete mockery of himself? I don't have kids. I don't think none of us do. But
We
that
do.
being,
I have a daughter. I
Yeah.
oh,
have a
you
daughter.
do. I mean,
Yes,
I know you do,
I yeah.
but I'm saying, well, how would you feel? I mean, as a father, because you're the
I,
only one
I
of those three that can answer it.
I feel like, to me, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like he needs to get his mind right, straight up. Yeah, he needs to go to counseling, but at the same time, to me, he needed to get his priorities straight. Like, to me, I understand you had a great relationship with your mother and father, but you need to be your own man. You need
Yep.
to be your own man. Do what you need to do. You have a child. That's your number one priority. You have a
How old's
child.
his daughter? How old's his daughter? Y'all know?
Three? I
Three?
think three.
Probably 3 years old.
Yeah.
Almost exactly. I mean, he's an incredibly gifted basketball player. You do a lot of great things. And I don't care what the evaluators say. I mean, we analyze and everything else. But let's talk about this from the social aspect. Young man, you're not going to live past 30 if you keep fooling with the same crowd. I'm just telling you what I know and what I've seen, and experiences and everything else. John Morant, you're an incredible player, but you're a complete fool when it comes to life. Get it right, or it may be too late.
Please get it right. Please get it right
All right.
for especially the true
Your daughter.
fathers, and not just your children, your child, but the true fathers who is doing all they can, scraping and then some, to take care of their children, even though they're going through things with their ex or their baby mother. They
Hmm.
want to do what they can. Do what you got to do and get it right, please. Because trust me, what you're doing, you're making us hardworking dads look damn bad.
All right, guys. Let's move on to the NBA playoffs. It is the rematches of the 2023 conference finals that took place in the bubble. We have Denver against the Lakers, and we have the Heat against the Celtics. Quickly, guys, your thoughts on these playoff matches coming up starting tomorrow with the Lakers and the Nuggets. George Peppers.
Well, starting with tomorrow night, since we're going to go chronological, I think the Nuggets, to me, have a decided advantage in this series. Look, as good as the Lakers have been in these two rounds, let's look at the matchups. A Memphis team that doesn't experience success, doesn't know how to handle success, was a two seed. And when the Lakers punched them in the mouth, they had no punch back. They got their brains beat in. Then Golden State in round two. Look, that's the defending champions. But again, masking deficiencies. Anthony Davis went to work and had himself an incredible series. And I think Golden State never fully recovered from the first round series against Sacramento. I think they were heavy legged in the LA series. They weren't able to match LA physically. Now you get a Nuggets team with Nikola Jokic, the last two games he's played, triple doubles and
Yeah.
crazy points. Nikola is arguably the best player in the game. And you know what? How many people would argue that point after yesterday watching Joel Embiid against Boston in a game seven, and Embiid won the MVP. Regardless, that's another debate. singularly focusing on the finals, on the conference finals, I'm going to pick the Denver Nuggets to win that series in 6. David, I'm sorry, but I'm going with the Nuggets. I'm just going to go with what I know. Jamal Murray, Porter, Nicola, and the rest of that cast is going to do more than the Lakers and what other teams have been able to do. Nuggets get their just desserts, make the finals. Boston, Miami, look, I could be the bitter Knicks fan and tell you Boston will broom Miami. They won't. It's not going to be any of that. But I do think that result will be different. Both series will be different results than in the bubble year. The Celtics, for all the talk about Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, and everything, I get it. But Miami is running into a vicious, vicious man in Jason Tatum, who is Butler's equal. And I think the Celtics have a better cast around them than Miami. But in that vein, I believe the Boston Celtics will go back to the finals because we forget they got there last year. They got there last year and pushed Golden State. Lost that in what, 6? I think something like that.
Yeah, and
Boston
6.
wins.
Yeah.
Boston wins this series. Miami is gallant, but they're not good enough. They finally run into a team that's better at a lot of points. Celtics in 6, Nuggets in 6, and we get a heck of a final.
VK?
Well, I'm gonna go to the Western Conference first. I really think this is gonna be a good series. I think this series is gonna go 7 games because I think the fact that LeBron is gonna really do what he got to do with this team. The young pups, especially Vanderbilt and Reeves, has been a big time help and everything. And I think AD might have a straight series, but it's gonna be tough. But the Denver Nuggets are a better team. You know what I'm saying? I think Denver's got a lot of depth. Caldwell Pope is gonna be a big time X factor in this series because of the fact of the matter is he played on that Lakers team that went to the finals in the bubble. So now he's gonna be back. He's gonna help the Nuggets. The bench is gonna come up big. And I'm gonna say what I said last series. If Jamal Murray and the Joker is on, it's gonna be a long series for the Lakers. And I really think the Joker, to be honest with you, AD had a great series, but here's the thing: Golden State didn't have nobody on the inside. Nobody on the inside. Kevon Looney was not about to handle him. Not all period. Draymond tried, but it's not happening. The Joker is gonna put something on that boy AD. He's gonna put something on him. And the scary part about it, he's scoring. He's scoring. Dude, it's a hell of a series. I say Denver in 7. The Eastern Conference Finals should be an interesting series, but Miami becoming probably one of the best eight seeds ever. One of the best 8 seeds ever because they have really came together. They have not played consistent all year long, and now in the playoffs they have turned up. It's been an amazing run. The Celtics got the experience, but the Celtics have not been consistent themselves. They have been killing themselves in a lot of playoff games. They have not shown the killer instinct that we have seen. The Denver Nuggets has been the only team has made a step of being a team with killer instinct. I really think, and I hate to say it, I'm going with the Miami Heat in 7. I think the Heat is going to the finals. I'm telling I like Jason Tatum, but Tatum, he's got 50, but can he do it again? He's a disappearing act. We have not seen the Celtics have repeat performances. If Miami takes advantage, and here's the thing, if Miami could get one in the Boston Garden, if they get one, it's over. And actually, it's not going to 7. Miami in 6. Miami in 6. Because all the Heat has to do, get one in the Garden. They do, they're going to close it in Miami. I got the Heat in the finals. Heat in Denver.
David Kinsey, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Caldwell Pope. There are other people that can score. And we've seen Jamal Murray take over games before. So it could happen. I'm just gonna say this quickly. It was Lakers Heat in 2020, 2023, Nuggets, Celtics. I got Nuggets in 6. I got Celtics in 7. That's what I'm going with. 2 good series. Yeah, I said it. Nuggets, Celtics. Now, before we close the show, my man, George Peppers, wanted to talk about the NBA draft lottery that is happening tomorrow. George Peppers, the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, it's tomorrow night, and look, the Pelicans are the least likely to get the number one pick. They have a 0.5% chance, but don't we know before? Didn't Orlando years ago have a 0.1 chance when they won the lottery and got Chris Webber?
Yeah, they
It's
paid
Shaq.
him.
I'm sorry, was it Shaq? Or was it the draft with Shaq, or was it the one? And one of the drafts, they won a lottery when they had no business. It takes one combination. Now, what's interesting is what David Griffin does if they somehow win the lottery and get Victor Wembanyama, who I think he needs to bulk up a little bit. But if New Orleans were to get lucky and get him, don't worry. The food here will get him right, as long as it's good weight. But, you know, for us that follow the Pelicans, that, none of us live in the city of New Orleans, but we follow this team close, and we're very inclined in really just invested a little bit in this group. We've already discussed about what they need to do this off season, but let's say they win this lottery for Victor Wembanyama, and I brought this up off air to the both of you. I don't know if I'd do it, but I'd kind of tease a little bit. I mean, do you trade a generational prospect? You better get you better get Fort Knox if you're going to do something like that. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't see the Pelicans winning this lottery and passing up that guy. You just don't. But what does this do for Valanciunas? Because he's your true center, and you get Victor. What do you do? Do you make Victor an apprentice early, or do you start him? Let's say we win this lottery, the Pelicans. What do you do? I mean, what are you guys doing with this? I mean, obviously, I don't think none of us are going to trade the pick. I just brought it up as a talking point. At the end of the day, I couldn't see myself and have the stomach to trade that guy. You just don't. But what would you guys do?
Go ahead, VK.
Well, I would do. I'm like this. If the Pels get the number one pick, it's obvious you got to get Win. It's obvious you got to get him because looking at his highlights and everything, he could be somebody that can really carry the league. This is another guy, and as the futures look like it might be bright for the NBA going forward. So he's somebody the Pels can't pass up. But then another thing is, you got to move some people. You have to move some people. And I present 2 people that they're going to have to move and trade for. First of all, you're going to have to do something impossible. People thinking I'm crazy. I don't give a care. I'm trying to win a title. So guess what I'm doing? Zion Williamson, step on up. Guess what? We got to send you somewhere. One of the 2 places is one you trade Zion and somebody else to Portland and to go get Dame Lillard. You'll finally have Dame Lillard, CJ in the backcourt, ready to handle business. You got veterans up front with Valanciunas and Ingram, and you have Win that and the veterans around him that can really get him going, and it'll be straight up the game time try to get a title. The other person that if you don't get a Dame, go to Boston. Because I don't think the Celtics are gonna have enough to afford to pay for both Tatum and for Jaylen Brown. I would trade Zion Williamson for Jaylen Brown. Bring him in there. We win. And let's see what the Pels can do to win the title. It's time to go for it, folks. I'm like this. We understand Zion might sign this deal. I get it. But Zion has not proven yet that he not just want to be here, but play. We're not about to do AD part 2. No. I'm like this, Pels fans. Do you want to win now and trying to get this title? Or you want to be held back another 5-10 years? It's your choice.
I'm going to say this. I'll give Zion one more year. I'll give one more year. And let's see if he can play enough games. But I wouldn't trade Victor. I would draft him. But I got a strong feeling who's going to win this draft tomorrow. And if they win this draft tomorrow, I'm telling y'all, it's going to be a resurgence of this team.
Houston.
No.
Not the
I got a
Rockets.
strong feeling the Spurs will get the #1 pick.
Oh. Fanboy. Fanboy.
I knew
Go
it.
ahead.
I freaking knew it.
Me too. I should have known.
I freaking knew it.
I'm telling you, baby.
I thought it was gonna go unbiased. And
Exactly.
and have about, you know what I'm saying? I thought he was going to unbiased and say one of those other teams.
The shame. The shame.
BK.
Yeah.
I don't know if David Kinsey missed what you said, but go ahead.
I was saying about the 1 or 2 trades. I'm saying if the Pels get #1, yeah, you draft Wembanyama. Whatever his name is, his first name.
Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama. The Pels should draft him. Trade Zion. You trade Zion. He's up. Him and another player for Damian Lillard up in Portland. If that don't go through, go to Boston. Trade Zion and the other player for Jaylen Brown. That's my proposal, especially if the Pels win their #1 pick.
Well, everybody, we thank y'all for tuning in. But before we go, we got a big show tomorrow, and I'm going to let my co-host, Mr. VK Jones, tell y'all what is going on tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Hash It Out Show, tonight was Hoops edition. Tomorrow, we're hitting the diamond. It's a baseball edition of the Hash It Out Show, a baseball championship edition. We will have 3 big guests on the show tomorrow. 2 big guests are state champions. We will have first, we will have Glenn Cicchini, the head coach of the Bar Buccaneers. He's going to join us. Multiple state champions for that school. They had came back from a 3-run deficit, and won against West Monroe, winning this year's state championship. We'll have him on the show. He has been a legend in this game for a long time. We're going to have him on out there out of Lake Charles. And then our second guest, another guy that's starting to be a living legend in itself of what he has done in the last decade. Wayne Stein, the head coach of the St. Charles Comets. He will join us, and one of the few coaches in the history of the LHSA winning back-to-back state titles in 2 sports in 2 years. We're going to have him on tomorrow as our second guest to talk about his career, also his decision of leaving the baseball program, and also talking about the St. Charles baseball program and the X itself and how things are going with him. But then we'll have Lamar Gaffer to close out the show to talk about the week in Sulphur. The LHSA baseball championship was a week in itself. We got stories galore to talk about, and also we'll talk a little college baseball as well, because this is the last week of the regular season and things are getting tight with our state schools. So tune in tomorrow, 8:15, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Subscribe to JB your sports guy, for Sean K. Jones on YouTube and also on Facebook. Tune in tomorrow, all the LSU fans and whatever. If you want to hear some good baseball sports talk, but we're going to definitely talk about the LSU baseball Tigers.
Definitely. I want to thank David Penn for giving me permission to actually stream this in the LSU basketball group on Facebook. So thank you, David Penn. Next Monday, we'll have another show also. And the special guest on that show, special guest for that show will be none other than former Core quarterback A.J. Samuel. A.J. Samuel will be joining us next Monday.
Wow.
We'll talk about his career, about him going to play college ball in Minnesota, and also talk about Algiers America. So A.J. Samuel will be joining us next Monday on this show.
No wonder you ain't give us no hints.
I told you I couldn't give you a hint because you would know. I told you.
I knew it, George. There was a reason why he wouldn't give it to us.
I know, but hey, at
We're
least we
excited.
showed. At least we're on Algiers America. I mean,
Yes.
they got our good side.
You know what?
They got,
That joke of
go
y'all
ahead.
coming out just
I'm
Uh-oh.
waiting.
y'all got y'all little cameo
Hey,
appearances. And the
uh,
camera was in my face for the whole Westgate game, and I'm not gonna show one.
Jared, I had a lot more camera time than you did, and they didn't show a lot more than. I'm not tripping, but I feel your pain, dog. But I'm
Dude,
not
you got a
tripping, though.
cameo. You got your voices on everything.
Hey,
Doris got a cameo. You know what?
it could have been a lot more than it did.
Of
Exactly.
course, yeah.
To be honest,
Nah,
because they
I'm
had me
happy
on
for
every
y'all
week
though.
talking.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
foolishness aside, I'm happy for
All,
y'all.
all I'm gonna tell you is
Thank
this.
you.
All the hating. Here's my thing. Can we start to try to get a website a little bit for this show and get a production LLC together? It's time for you to come with us truly so you can enjoy the experiences and enjoy
And
the
stop spending
perks.
that, and stop spending 3,000. No, I say 3,000. Stop spending rich money in the dome when you could get it for free.
Exactly. Come
I mean,
come
and
on
me
with us and
and
get the
and me
close access that you deserve. You earn this stuff, man. It's
exactly,
time for you to come over. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
'Cause trust me, trust me, when you get some free jambalaya instead of paying that $10 jambalaya, you'll feel
15.
happy in the world. 15, you're right. But then if you come next year to Sulphur, a couple days for the baseball tournament, all I'm gonna tell you is this. It's like a racetrack. You ain't gotta pay a dime. We talking about food, snacks galore.
Mm.
I'm telling you, bro. You need to get yourself in media so you get your pass. Come on out here so you can do interviews and whatever else. Show yourself that you're part of the working media. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad. Trust me, the perks are there.
The transition is seamless, though, VK.
Yeah.
Let's be real. The transition into what we do, it's seamless. It's easy. Jared, you would fit in big time with what your knowledge and your depth and what you do, dude. You're a natural fit, and it would
Thank
be
you.
awesome for the three. Oh, you're welcome. But for the three of us to wait, I mean, we're banding together. But now you could join us, and look, it's not the dark side; it's the right side. So,
And you
with
know,
that being said,
and guess what? It'll open up more guests. So trust me,
But yeah, I agree to that.
it'll take some, like, I don't mind getting a guest. I'm starting to be like on wrestling, the world famous Booker. You know what I'm saying? But you starting to get them, my friend. I'm gonna
JJ
give you
Dillon,
credit. Yeah, like JJ, like I'm on Dusty Road myself. You know what I'm
there you
saying?
go.
That's my guy. So I'm starting to be the world famous Booker, but he's starting to get there, and that's a really good thing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we have another guest. You know what I'm saying? Me and Jared kind of talked about it, but we hope to have him on soon. But we'll see about that. You know what I'm saying? It
Mhm.
depends on the decision. That's all I can say about that. You know what I'm saying? Depends on the decision because trust me, we're brewing something really, really good coming up if it happens. You know what I'm saying? And we're hoping it goes that way because we will love to have this guy on the show to talk about the transition and all that good stuff. But we got some
Mhm.
good things coming up. AJ Sam is gonna be a huge guest coming up next week, and we're gonna work on some other guests as well. I talked to a couple of yesterday. I took my mom to the Saints facility for
Yeah,
Mother's
you
Day and
did.
stuff like that, and I met a couple of former New Orleans Saints Hall of Famers. They might be coming through the show, bro. So
Hey, I'm with it.
yeah,
I'm with it.
Let's
get
get it. Let's
ready.
get it.
Get
Let's
ready.
get
Let's
it.
So
get it. Let's
and
get it.
the guys agreed, and I got the contacts. They said anytime you're
Awesome.
ready. So
Awesome.
it's all cool. We digging deeper and
We
deeper,
digging
man.
deep, baby.
Yeah, but tomorrow night, please join us. It's
Yes.
huge. And also we're gonna put it out there on social media all hopefully tomorrow and everything. I'm gonna try and get it on all of social media, including Twitter. And I know Coach Shakini kind of asked about it. So but we're gonna make sure we get all that together. So we make sure the Bob fans can make sure they watch that because the biggest thing he asked about was our viewership and numbers, and I explained it to him and everything else. So the biggest thing is I'm gonna make sure I send the post to him as well. So a
Yes.
lot of the ball folks could
Send
join
a post to him, and he can
card,
send
you
it
know what
out
I'm saying?
to everybody to watch.
And I think he'll like it to find out that you're a Lake Charles guy. So,
oh yeah, I'm gonna tell him. Definitely.
Yeah, it'll be all to the good. So can't wait till tomorrow to bring you this all baseball edition.
Yes, all
We're
baseball.
growing, bro. We just need an NIL now. We don't know when it's coming. I'm telling you. I know you working on trying to get a deal, Jared. I know, but the people are watching out there, bro. Like if you got a company or advertisement, man, you know what I'm saying? We would love to advertise or whatever, but you know, you gotta we need a little deal, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? We work hard to do what we do, you know what I'm saying? And we don't do the paywall. We don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to grow our product. So that's what it's all about.
So before we end the show, I want to thank everybody who tuned in today. I want to thank my two co-hosts, VK Jones and George Peppers, and definitely we got to thank emilyward, you know, national championship member of the LSU women's basketball team. We got to thank her for coming in and telling us her story. It was a great story, and we had a lot of fun with her. But everybody, thank y'all. We are back tomorrow, 8:15. Please be here. Everybody, thank y'all. Y'all take care. Later.